In football, tiebreakers are used to separate two or more teams who are even on points, to determine who advances from a group or a knockout stage match, even though it differs depending on which stage of a tournament it is. For example, nowadays the FIFA World Cup uses overall goal difference to split two teams even on points in a group, whereas extra time and possibly a penalty shootout separates teams in a knockout stage match. It's also worth noting that tiebreakers can differ depending on what competition it is. For example, as previously mentioned, the World Cup uses overall goal difference, whereas UEFA tournaments, like the European Championship, prioritize head-to-head results. To further illustrate this, let's have a look at Group 2 of Euro 2004 qualification. As you can see, Norway finished above Romania, despite having the same number of points, and an inferior goal difference. This is because their head-to-head result was prioritized. Had it been a World Cup qualification group, Romania would have placed above Norway, because of overall goal difference. Tiebreakers don't only vary from tournament to tournament, they've also evolved throughout history. Years ago, goal ratio could be used to determine what team would advance to the knockout stage of a World Cup when tied on points in a group. A practice discontinued after England conceded 0 goals at the 1966 tournament, making the concept completely inapplicable. However, sometimes the World Cup has used playoffs to split teams tied on points. Wales notably defeated Hungary in such a match to reach the quarterfinals of the 1958 World Cup. Additionally, knockout stage matches weren't always decided by penalties, but replays. It means exactly what it sounds like. Teams would simply play again at another day to see if that next tie could produce a winner. However, what if the tiebreakers of today had always been in use at the World Cup? How would it affect the history of the competition? That's what we're here to find out. More specifically, World Cup tiebreakers and not head-to-head results, which, as previously mentioned, is used at the European Championship. Sadly, this means I won't see Sweden in the quarterfinals of the 1970 World Cup, since we beat Uruguay there but failed to advance because of goal difference. Oh well. Let's examine every World Cup in chronological order. The first World Cup where this is relevant is the 1934 edition. The quarterfinal match between Italy and Spain would have gone to penalties instead of being won by the Azzurri in a replay. Spain could have won in the shootout, meaning either they, Austria or Czechoslovakia would have won the World Cup, which is really interesting to think about since, well, Austria and Czechoslovakia have never won it, and Spain didn't win it until 2010, so history could have been different. Still, it's unlikely given how corrupt Mussolini's regime was, and there's definitely the case can definitely be made that that tournament was rigged in Italy's favor. In 1938, the round of 16 matches between Switzerland and Germany and Cuba and Romania would be decided by penalties instead of resulting in replays, won by Switzerland and Cuba respectively. Still, even if the shootouts resulted in different winners than in our timeline, they would have both likely been eliminated in the quarterfinals against Hungary and Sweden respectively. Additionally, the quarterfinal match between Brazil and Czechoslovakia would also go to penalties. Had Czechoslovakia won, they would have probably lost against Italy in the semifinals, even though a win is within the realm of possibility. The next eligible tournament is the 1954 World Cup. Turkey would have advanced to the last 8 ahead of eventual champions West Germany. However, it's worth noting that this World Cup was really odd, since teams only played 2 matches in the group stage instead of a full round robin. If West Germany also played against South Korea, they may have very well gotten a goal difference good enough to advance, in accordance with the tiebreakers of today. Not to mention that Turkey would have had their decent goal difference obliterated by the mighty Magyars. Nevertheless, I will stay true to the idiotic format, since it is what FIFA decided was a good idea to use, meaning Turkey would have made it to the quarterfinals. Also, Italy would have advanced to the quarterfinals instead of Switzerland. In the quarterfinals, Turkey would have most likely lost against Yugoslavia. The battle between Austria and Italy would be a close affair, though an edge has to be given to the Austrians, who simply were a bit better back then. They would notably get revenge for their 1934 exit. Because of the bracketology, this means that either Yugoslavia, Austria or Hungary would have won the World Cup, which is also really fascinating to contemplate. Probably the mighty Magyars, but anything could have happened. And also, as a little bonus fun fact, the drawing of lots between Uruguay and Austria resulted in a correct team order according to modern day tiebreakers. At the 1958 World Cup, Czechoslovakia would have advanced to the last 8 over Northern Ireland, and Hungary would have qualified over Wales. This wouldn't really affect that much though. The semi-final teams, and by extension the remainder of the tournament, would likely remain the same as in our timeline. The most recent such example, well, to an extent, came as late as 1990, a whole 32 years since 1958, where the Republic of Ireland finished above the Netherlands because of the drawing of lots after having identical records. However, it's worth noting that Ireland would have finished above the Netherlands in accordance with fair play points of today. So the draw resulted in, the drawing of lots resulted in a correct order of the teams. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe if you liked it.